Welcome back, brothers, to the E-Gang podcast. I am your host, Grizzly. I'm joined today by my co-hosts, Hatter,
What's up?
Extend,
What's up?
and finally, after what, 3 episodes, we got Adderlin in. I've been calling him 101 in the past few episodes. That is my bad. His name,
Yeah,
the name he wants to go by is Aderlin or Adderlin or
yep,
Ader,
the name
right?
is gone. Yeah, Ader or Adelin, whatever. Both
All right,
ways works.
but not 101.
Yeah,
Okay, so
not
our guest
101.
speakers today are gonna be Disturbed,
What's up, ladies?
Wambo,
E.
and Caden. He's there. He's just a little bit retarded right now. So I kind of want to start this off with a PSA before we get into the podcast.
PSA. Alright.
Oh fuck! Hold up. All right. There are about 4 of us that are on another level at the moment. Yeah, like that.
Yeah.
You're going to. It'll be blatantly obvious in a minute who is on another. But we're gonna make a fun game out of it. You guess who and put it in the comments, and you'll get a high five, a crisp high five. All right. So what I do want to start off with, though, I want to start off with 101. Since you have missed a couple of episodes, I want you to kind of just tell the people about you. You know, introduce yourself and maybe a couple stories about you. Maybe a good story as to why you're, why you haven't been on the past couple episodes. Go ahead, if you want.
Yeah. Yeah. So, this past week, I did not get Wi-Fi. Started Monday, like my Wi-Fi got cut off. Like just bills, family problems, whatever. It all happens, you know. You have a single mother, so it all happens. And yeah, so I wasn't able to get on all week. I got my PlayStation to my dad's house, which I think that's Friday. And yeah, there you go. I was able to get on now for the podcast. Cannot miss it, yo.
Yeah.
I cannot miss it again.
Right.
So
We're gonna start working. Our usual schedule is every Saturday, Wednesdays if we have time. But
Yeah.
if we need to make it work, we can do Fridays or Sundays too.
Yeah.
For anybody who's listening, in every description, there's going to be a link to our Discord. If you want to go ahead and hop in that Discord, we will have posted when we're about to do a podcast, our schedules, and any interruptions that may, halt the podcast or make the podcast happen a different day. So Aderlin, go ahead and say a little bit about yourself in these, just a little bit, just explain you.
I'm here. I live in Canada. I'm the Canadian one, you know. So Canada represent. And yeah, that's all about it. Yeah.
That's about it. Hell yeah. Well, that's cool. That's cool. We're glad to have you finally. This wouldn't have happened. I honestly, equal parts to all 4 of us, But
You're right.
Aderlin is the one that brought it up to all 3 of us and was like, "Hey, we need to do this."
Yeah.
And like, I don't know, like the day after he said that, I was just like, boom, we got to do it. So props to Aderlin. I'm glad he's finally on. I'm glad we're finally getting him to, get in here.
Yeah. I'll be there every episode. You see me now.
Yeah.
I'm one of the main
I'm ready
hosts
for
too,
it.
so.
Yeah, you are the main. Yeah, we're all equal. Us 4. I know some do. Even though I do the intros, there's no difference between me, Hatter, Aderlin, Extend. We're all equals. I do believe. I know this podcast isn't going to be a whole lot like the last one, with a lot of pop culture stories. I don't think. I don't have any stories. I don't know if anyone else, but this is going to be more like just a story time bullshitting podcast where we talk with you guys and just have some fun. I know I got a couple stories. I know Extend has a story or 2.
I got a couple stories myself.
Hell yeah! So let's get right into it. Adelin, you want to go ahead and start off the first story?
Yeah. So start off this podcast today. It was actually weird. I saw this by the news. Okay, this girl got like she was lost at the age of 13. Okay,
Yeah.
and her parents got killed, and she got kidnapped. And just recently discovered her. Like she appeared like she was found, and anybody thought she was dead or something, you know. But she got kidnapped.
Damn.
Yeah, and now it's on the news saying a 21-year-old man burst into the home of a kid Wisconsin couple, killing them and kidnapping a 13-year-old daughter.
That
Um,
is crazy. How old is she now? Or
now,
did it say how old ago, how long ago it was?
they don't say how long. They didn't say how long. No, I don't remember. Honestly don't remember how long they said on the news.
Years,
But
but at
in
least
here, what I'm
can we
reading,
specify years?
yeah, it was a few years. A few years.
Like 3?
Damn, that is crazy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
bro.
probably 3 or more. That's
That
crazy.
yeah, that caught my eye. I was like,
That is
bro,
crazy.
her parents got killed and she got kidnapped. Like,
Right.
that's fucked.
Yeah,
Think of
that's
that.
fucked.
Like, how if you got okay, if you were in that situation, okay, you got kidnapped, whatever. You were able to escape. Your parents got killed. Where are you gonna go? What would you
Right.
do for your next
Like
life?
next of kin, police, or would they even believe you? Like, would the cops even believe you? They're like,
Yeah,
oh, it's just some crazy person.
but
That is crazy
what
to
would
think
you
about.
do? And the rest of your life now, like you have to
Right.
kind of you're at a new start, but you got no parents. Like,
Right.
I don't know,
It's
bro. Like,
whack.
damn.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
It's deep. I like it. We're starting off this podcast good and deep. I like this shit. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
You got
It's
anything
crazy.
else?
Um, shit.
We can bounce
Nah, not
back to you
really.
if you want while you're thinking.
Yeah, I'm kind of zizzed a little bit, so nothing's on my
Please.
mind.
All right, extend. I know you had a story that you've been dying to say all day. Let's go ahead.
Oh yeah, so basically during like fucking 8th grade, alright, so this kid, he was like really fucking annoying piece of shit. He was like a rich like Mexican kid, and like I was going to academy school at the time, and I was like the ghetto kids, and like they put sometimes they mix the ghetto kids with the academy kids, and that was like
Yeah.
PE. So during the
Oh
time,
yeah.
it was like the end of the
Fucking
school year, and like he was being a bitch, and he was just really fucking annoying and a cunt. And during the time, we were playing fucking tennis or some shit. I don't fucking remember. Some shit like that. Yeah, some shit like that.
Hatter's dying in the background.
Some shit like that.
Who is
And then
that?
like,
Someone's dying. God.
yeah, someone's dying.
Who is that? Is that one? Is that you?
You wanna what?
That's me. Yeah, please
God.
say these
So-
We're live right now, boys.
It's all good. It's all good. It's all
It's all good, bro. This is funny.
Keep going.
So fucking. So during like the end, like the middle of the end towards like fourth quarter is like fourth quarter. It's like second semester of school, and like it's the last month of school and shit. And so during the middle of it, we were playing like table tennis and shit, and we were getting ready for final exams and shit like that. And during the time, we were just fucking around and shit, and like the ball was coming towards me, and he was running towards it, and I was like, oh, it kind of happened in like an accident, but it was on purpose too. So when he came towards me, and the ball was coming towards me too, his face was directly in like the fucking paddle and the ball. So I missed, and I fucking hit his nose really fucking hard that I broke it. And like he started bleeding all over. Yeah, he started bleeding all over the place and shit. And then after that, he was sent to the nurse and shit, and he didn't come back to school for like a week.
The #1 victory royale.
Number basically. And then like after that, yeah, he
glass. God.
no dumbass. Fucking, I hit him with a tennis paddle, and that shit like broke his nose. And like when
He
he
fucking killed him. It's been on for
Basically.
weeks.
When I came back, when I came back to, well, not when I came back to school, but when he came back to school, his nose was like stitched up and shit and like fucked.
God.
Oh my god. You
His
fucked him up
nose with
too.
Alakazam.
Oh, what are we talking
Alakazam.
about?
Alakazam.
What are we talking
God.
about? What were we talking about before this?
Dude,
Hold on.
I
Cater,
don't know.
Before all
cater the
this.
Hatter real quick.
What?
What'd you say,
Are you
Hatter?
good, Hatter?
I'm straight. I'm good.
Straight? Good.
You don't sound
That's real
straight.
good to hear.
I
No,
thought
you don't. Not at all.
gay.
Hatter, do you have any stories to tell? What's up with you? How you
Nah,
feeling, bro?
brother.
Oh yeah, we
Nothing?
do. We gotta tell one story, Hatter.
Nah.
Yeah, you gotta say
Nah,
something.
nah.
Oh, it was wild in PE today.
Oh,
Tell
dude.
it.
What happened in PE today, Hatter?
Ask
tell us.
fucking Nathan, he knows. I don't. What the fuck? I was a third person view. He was first.
That was the third.
Alright.
You're right
Extend.
next.
He
to
was
us, yeah.
right in your face.
Alright, Extend.
Alright.
Go ahead, tell us.
So basically in PE we're playing map, it's fucking complicated and shit.
Wait, what
It's like
game?
kickball but baseball. And
Oh,
like,
man.
Indoors and indoors.
yeah. So when we were doing that shit was welding. The first, when they were kicking first, they were winning and shit. And then like, fucking, the last fucking people were kicking were like the big people and shit. And like, he did good and shit. They all did good. They all made it. And then they started fucking like crazy. Like, everyone did a kick twice again. And someone nearly fucking died because of that shit. So they all started running, and then they all went to like first, second, third. And then like, when he was about to get hit by the ball, he dead ass like folded his body and fucking dodged the shit out of it, almost breaking his fucking back type of shit, and fucking landed on the fucking pad and fucking won. So he was wildin', and then other shit happened. Like, there was like, it was about it. No, not really about a fight, but like there was a big ass fucking argument, and that shit get really annoying and shit.
God.
It got annoying.
Yeah, I got not well, they argue and shit.
Right.
You motherfuckers
Who
are
argued?
annoying. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Who was arguing?
Who was arguing? I don't know. I don't fucking care.
He said I didn't pay attention. There was just arguing in the background. Alright, so I can't remember what I was gonna say.
What is the time
Not gonna
currently?
lie.
What is the time?
Professional A1 podcast.
My
We've
phone
been
is
on,
over
we've been
there.
on for 12.
You will
We've
be on
been-
CBC
we-
News.
It is currently
12 hours
For
already?
me, for me.
midnight for you. It is midnight for you. It's
Oh,
12:15.
okay,
For
okay.
both.
Thank you, brother.
I think
Thank
it's
you.
both.
Welcome.
Thank you, brother. Salute.
Welcome. Salute.
Whoa,
Arthur.
oh I am.
Alright. Well, I was telling a story earlier today, and it seemed to go pretty well, and I figured, I could probably put it on the podcast. It's a little funny, it's a little sad too, but it's a good one. It's a good one.
Okay.
How did we get to this? I wanna lead into
We were
what
playing
our
the
conversation
forest.
was before. Yeah,
The
but what was
kick
our
We were playing the
conversation happening?
forest.
The
Well,
kickball.
no,
It was
it
our
was-
turn to say what the hell happened, B.
What are we talking about?
What?
Oh, I already explained it.
Yeah, Nathan was explaining
anyway.
what we were doing in PE.
Hold on. What do you
Oh,
mean,
oh.
but how did we get to what? How did we get to this?
Oh, I thought
And
that
story.
fucking story was over.
No.
Yeah, wait.
Oh, sorry, my
What do you
bad, my bad. Go
mean?
ahead, go ahead.
It
Go
sounded
ahead,
like
my
you.
bad.
You
Gee,
only
it sounded
explained
like
the
it was
game. You didn't explain what happened to John, man.
John? What do you? Oh shit! Oh yeah, John. Alright, so this white kid, John,
God.
fucking, when he was
God.
running and shit.
This disgusting
When he was
white
running.
kid.
Yeah, he was running, and
God.
he punted it. He made it to the first base, and when he made it to the first base, he tripped on his fucking face. It's the most funny shit I've ever seen.
How did he
It
trip
was
on his
really
face?
bad. Everyone was
He
quiet
tripped on
when
the
it.
mat.
Everyone went quiet for like 2 seconds, and then everyone started laughing. It was the funniest shit
It
ever.
was the
Everyone
funniest
waited
shit
for him
ever.
to be okay. It was so
And he
Just
was.
had
bad.
to make
He was
sure that
fine
he
though.
wasn't fucking dead.
He's like, oh, is he
Let's
dead?
go.
Yeah, he was
Moves.
okay.
Oh, that was hilarious. That was horrible.
Dude,
Oh, my nigga
I
John
just
is a
read-
G.
Yeah.
He really is, bro. He really fucking is.
bro.
It's my
He
dog.
I
wilded.
just saw something today, guys.
What's
saying
up?
YouTube has deleted thousands of videos promoting academic cheating in the last week of the last week. It's called edubirdie.com. You guys have heard of it?
No.
Yeah.
No, I've never heard of it.
Yeah.
Edubirdie.com is an app that helps you like with your exams
Great essays.
and with essays, write essays and everything. Yeah, and apparently it's like kind of like a cheat, you know,
Yeah.
for schoolish or whatever. And now YouTube is deleting like every videos that promotes it, because lately that's been promoted by a lot of
Right. Well, shit,
growing
don't
channels.
talk about it. You're gonna get our channel ripped. Damn, we're new.
Yeah.
I need a little bit. Come on, just a little bit before we get this shit ripped out from under us. It's gonna be like fucking Alex. What is his name? The
We're
Infowars guy.
live!
Alex
We're
Jones.
live! What
Yeah,
the
Alex
fuck?
Jones. Just get that shit
Yeah.
ripped right out
Why
from under
are
us.
you
Nope, you
talking
can't
about
speak
that?
anymore.
What the fuck?
They're turning the fucking
We're
frogs gay.
live!
They're putting gay. They're putting
Fluoride in the water.
Putting chemicals in the water and turning frogs gay.
Tards.
God, alright. Alright.
What
Oh,
was the
I
story?
dropped my jewel. Alright, so.
Okay, we can't talk over
Gross.
each other.
Yeah. Okay. So the story is equal parts. It's gonna make you hurt, it's gonna make you cry, and it's gonna make you laugh. All right? It's the perfect, well-rounded story. And Extend can attend to this because I told it earlier, and I guarantee this man laughed until he cried, and then he held his balls in pain. So, I don't remember how we got into this story. I don't. Just like I don't know how I'm going to ease into this story now, but I'm just gonna do it. So, back when I lived in Ponca.
Okay. Your balls started hurting and you started falling with
okay.
them? Yeah.
Yeah. So it was something like that. It was ball pain. A good story
Yeah.
always starts with ball pain. Let's be real.
And then I told you that, why don't you just shoot it off or some shit like that?
Yeah. You said something about shave it off or some shit, and that's how I got into the story. So there was a guy that used to live out by my dad's house, and his name was Roy. Roy, I believe, I can't remember specifically if he was a military vet or if he was just an old farmer, but he had got smacked in the brain cap one too many times, and he had the mental capacity of an 8-year-old, but he could function as, a full-fledged adult. He paid his bills, paid his property taxes, he owned his own house, owned his own vehicle, kept, all good, but he did have manic depression and, a mental disability of sorts. So, this cat, anyway, he was awesome, dude. Like, every time we would go out there, he knew my uncle in some way, on my mom's side. And we'd always go out there, and we'd pick up, like, scrap metal from him, and we'd take it to the scrap bin, or use it for welding, or whatever, what have you. But just, help him clean up his land, because he'd have a bunch of, like, junker cars, or, fucking diamond plate sheets and shit. A bunch of cool shit that people would dump on his land, treat it like a dump, and he would just need it hauled off. So, we would pick it up, haul it to the dump, and get paid for it, and he got a clean house, so even Stevens. But anytime and this guy, I mean, like, he spent his life alone. He lived in a double-wide trailer with him and his dog. So anytime we came out there, this dude's eyes lit up. It was great, hanging out with him. It wasn't like actually speaking to a downy, it was like speaking to a regular guy that was just a bit slow. Like he just
Downey?
talked a little slow.
God.
Yeah.
You
Downy,
can't
the
say
quicker
that.
picker up. You know what I
So
mean?
he's
One
like,
of those guys.
he's like, what's
You
that one guy from King of the
cannot
Hill I mentioned
say
again?
that. You
What's it-
can't
who's
say that. I'm doubting. Jesus Christ. Now,
Go
fuck
ahead,
you.
extend. Go
Yeah,
Hold on, guys. Chill. Go ahead and extend. Go ahead.
So I don't know why, but I was talking about earlier. He gave me that like vibe from that one guy from King of the Hill.
Kinda, yeah, like a Bill Dotree vibe, exactly. Like,
Yeah.
but a little slower, even still. Like a little slower, just a little bit.
Because Bill would do some shit like he will shoot off his ball. Like, he would actually,
You're fucking ruining the story, whore. Anyway, I hadn't got there yet. But
Get to the point.
I'm trying to. All right, it's a bit of a longer story. I'm sorry, my stories have detail. They're well rounded. So this dude was awesome. It was really sad, you know, that he didn't have anyone. So we went out there and we hung out with him. We bullshitted with him. We worked and whatnot. One day we go out there after a fishing trip. We didn't even plan on getting any scrap or anything. We were just gonna go out there and talk with him because it was on our way. And he just didn't light up the same way. And we noticed he was walking a little funny. We walk up there. My uncle says, "Well, Roy, how you doing?" Or no, I walk up to him first because I see him first. And my uncle and my stepdad are getting shit out of the truck. I walk up to him and said, "How you doing?" He said, "Oh, can't complain. Oh, you know." And I'm like, "Yeah." And then my uncle walks up to him, shakes his hand, gives him a hug. "How you doing, Roy?" "Well, I blew my balls off yesterday." And then we all kind of just chuckled a little bit. And after the chuckle, we looked at him and we saw that he was serious. So with me, I was fine with that. Like, yeah, okay, leave it at that. Cool. You blew your balls off, I'm done. Yeah, I understand. Shit happens sometimes. But my uncle just had to keep on digging. So he asked him, he's like, "Roy, what compels a man to blow his balls off? And, if you don't mind, how do you go about blowing your balls off?" And he says, and all right, so here's a little thing you gotta know about Roy. He had a really stupid, sick, scary sense of humor. He was always joking, but you could never tell when he had this one joke that he would use every time something happened. Anytime his depression flared up. And I knew it was a joke because I knew the guy. He was a really nice guy, you know. But his one joke, and I don't know, it's because of he was slow, so he thought this joke was socially
God.
acceptable. I'm not trying to like be mean, but he actually was slow. Like he would tell you, he'd be like, "I'm slower than the average bear." That was his favorite catchphrase. "I'm slower than the average bear." But his favorite joke to use anytime his depression flared up, and he did something outlandish, because when his depression flared up, he usually did something outlandish, like, you know, try to fucking move his car without turning the key, like pick it up in park and shit. He just did dumb shit. His favorite thing to say was, "Well, it was either that or go down into town and shoot a bunch of high school kids."
God.
That was his joke. That was his joke.
Reminds
That
me
was
of
the
Michaela
joke.
for some reason.
Joke.
Michaela.
So-
ah!
Right. So it terrified me. But in some way, I knew he was joking. I knew he was never going to actually take one of his many, many, many guns into town and shoot a high school kid. But there was still that part of me that says, he might. You never know. But anyway, so we go to talk to him, and he says, my uncle says, "Why? Why'd you do it?" And he's like, "Well, it was either that or I go into town and shoot a bunch of kids." And he said, "Well, we understand that. You got real depressed and you blew your balls off. That's fine." He said, "Was it one clean swiper?" And he said, "Well, that's the funny thing. See, I was cleaning out my..." He said, Extend already knows this part, so he's fucking dying laughing thinking about it. Hold on, Extend. Mute the mic. You're breathing real heavy. All right. He said, "I was cleaning out my gun safe, and I found this nice 22 pistol. Little bitty bugger. And I found 2 shells in the clip. So I figured I'd rack them shells up, cock it back, grab my right one, put the barrel to it, and let her pop. After that, I grabbed the left one, cocked it back again, put the barrel to it, and let it pop. I figured 2 for 2, might as well get it. And we just, what are you supposed to do at that point? All right, you laugh, you hurt, you cry. He took 2 shots to blow off both of his nuts. He didn't just hold them sideways and get a real good clean shot and get one of them. No. 22 long rifle, one of the smallest calibers other than the 17 HMR, right through his testicles. And the worst part about it was, he asked me if I wanted to see him. Not the ones attached to him, the ones he has sitting above his bed in a pickle jar. He scooped up the remains off his bed.
On the back of their trucks. The deer nuts.
Yeah.
What the
Yes. This man blew his nuts off.
I was dying. I had to mute my mic.
So that
This
reminds me
man
of...
blew his nuts off in his own bed, scooped up the remains, put them in a pickle jar, and set them on his headboard.
Wait, do you think it got all over the walls?
Oh my
I
god, that's
guarantee it.
nasty.
It's a
And
22
hilarious
long
as
rifle. Have you ever shot anything with a 22 long rifle? It bounces in there.
How's
Like,
he
if you
living
were-
right now? What
Oh
is he
no
doing?
no.
What? What are you knowing? How's
What
he
you
living?
just said.
Should I
What you
tell
just
that part?
said. What you just said. Yeah.
Alright, so here's the part where I told you to make you cry. Well, I'll tell a little bit more about Roy, and then I'll tell how Roy's doing nowadays. So, you know, we weren't surprised. The bad thing is when you come up to a guy, you expect to, if someone says, you know, if you were to go and meet someone tomorrow and said, I blew my balls off, you'd be shocked. You wouldn't know what the fuck to say. Us, we're like, yeah, it's just Roy. That's just Roy. I mean, we expect some dumb shit like this. Man cut off his pinky one time just because he felt like it. So Roy was a particular kind of guy. He was very slow, but he was also smart in the ways where it mattered when it came to his land. And during this time period, a lot of Ponca City, because we're about 20 miles from Ponca, about 15 miles from Blackwell, and a lot of Ponca City wanted to extend out more westwardly because, you know, it's getting too small. And they wanted to buy up, you know, they were buying up land. And a lot of people around those parts were, you know, people we thought would never, ever sell. Were just, you know, selling their land left and right over insurance claims or, you know, shit like that. House burning down and shit. Well, one day we were up at, this was probably a few months after Roy blew his balls off. We were up at Roy's getting some metal, and some cops pull up in a marked car, and they tell him, you got X amount of days to get the fuck off this property because it's not yours anymore. And Roy pulled out of his pocket, out of his overalls pocket. This dude kept this shit on standby. He always had he had 3 things on him. He had his can of skull in his overalls tit pocket. He had his 9mm in his fucking waistband, and he had a shit ton of papers in his right pocket that we had no idea what they were. So Roy fishes out these fucking papers that say, look, here, motherfucker, I paid my property tax, I paid my utilities, I paid my trailer, you ain't got shit on me. So unless you want that no trespassing sign to be enacted, please get off my property. And this man, I would not doubt, would do everything. In fact, this story tells you that he'd do just about anything. I one time showed up to this man's house in another vehicle that he did not know was mine, and he put a gun to my temple until he saw my face. Pretty scary, but it's you know, it comes with the territory. Around here, you expect that shit. I've had my own father point a gun at me.
God.
Caden can attest to that one. We thought we were gonna get shot on fucking Christmas Day. Anyway, so we leave that night, and we plan on coming back a few days later to pick up the rest of this load. And a few days later, oh, he's chipper as hell. Cheery as can be. And we talked to him and said, and I noticed he wasn't carrying his 9mm in his back pocket, on his waistband. I was like, you know, he's chipper and he's walking around. I was like, well, Roy, where's your gun? Where's your 9mm at? And he said, I reckon it's still in the evidence locker. And I said, what? He said, yeah, they tend to take those when you kill a cop. I said, what, Roy? Please explain. He said, well, those cops that came and saw me that day y'all were here came by a few nights ago and tried to start a fire on my horse barn. So I let off a warning shot in the side of their unmarked car. And here's the part that still gets me to this day. Roy would never tell a lie. And the way he explained this story is really hard to believe. But this is the man, I'm telling you, that would sit there while we're picking up a sheet of metal and go, huh? Yeah, I just shit myself. I'll be right back, boys. He told you everything. As soon as it popped into his head, it came out, and it was the truth. He did not tell a lie. I mean, this is the guy where you say, how you doing? And he tells you, I blew my balls off yesterday with 2 shots. So, look, I trust this man more than I trust most people to tell me the truth. And he told me that he took a shot from his front porch. He took 2 shots with his 9mm. One of them hit the side of the police car, and one of them hit the side of the policeman's head from 300 yards away. Oh no, from 200 yards away. Because from the driveway, from the beginning of the driveway to his front yard, or to his front porch is 300 yards. From the beginning of his driveway, or from the front porch to the mailbox is about 200 yards. He said by the time they hit that mailbox there, I aimed directly beneath the driver's side door to try to hit that metal there, and I end up hitting the guy on the passenger side in the head. Crazy how shit like that happens, isn't it? This is all he said. He is not at all scared. I'm freaking the fuck out. I'm like, Roy, how are you not in prison right now?
Nice man to have kids around.
Right. I was like, how are you not in prison right now? He said, well, after I shot the guy's partner and the cops showed up, he confessed to the fact that not only were they trespassing, but they were also planning on burning down my house, my yard, my barn, and all the land surrounding it so that they could get my land without my permission. And so all he got was charged with a little bit of manslaughter, and he got away with it because of his mental disability. And it was really all the cops' fault anyway. I mean, who shows up at 3 o'clock in the morning trying to burn your fucking house down and doesn't expect to get shot in the head? Oh. Well, about 3 years ago, I get a call from my uncle, and he's living in California. I don't know how he gets the fucking news before me. I'm still living in Ponca. He tells me, he said, did you hear the news? I was like, no, probably. What news are you talking about? And he said, Roy passed away. I said, what the fuck? How? Did he shoot his brains out this time? Nope. Apparently whoever tried to start the job burning down his horse barn finished the job by burning down his house. And I was like, how do they know it was Roy? Could have been anybody in there if it burnt up. He said, here's the funny part. Roy's room didn't burn down. See, Roy's room was at the far east end of the trailer. And the door to Roy's house was at the far west end of the trailer. The fire started at the west end and burned all the way down to the east end. When it got to his room, stopped. But Roy had no windows in his room. He didn't want anybody to see him while he slept. So Roy and his dog were curled up in bed and they suffocated due to the smoke. So it is a sad story. But no one bought that land. That is good. A good outcome to it. It found out that Roy had a family all along that just didn't know they were related to him. They ended up getting that land and running a ranch on it. Pretty heartfelt story.
Yeah, rest in peace to Roy, man.
Right, rest in peace, Roy. And his nuts, because his balls are gone. Oh, shit.
Yeah, that's it.
That was crazy. That was the wildest man I've ever met. Really is. Oh, he's fucking crazy.
Wow.
Fucking blew my balls off.
Like
2 shells.
Seems like a really great man.
Throat spray, gotta love it. Go ahead.
So, this was like back, what? I was like probably like 10 years old, okay? I was like 10 years old. And I had a neighbor. She was a girl, like, me and my sisters would always like play with her, you know, like we'd always like, we'd just have a lit time just playing with her, you know?
Right.
And we had this other neighbor, but they were adults, okay? They were like probably it was a couple. The the guy was probably like in his 50s and the wife was like probably in her 50s as well, okay? They're both in their 50s and they're vegetarian as hell, okay?
Like full vegan
they,
or just
yeah, full
vegetarian?
vegan. They
Damn.
run like they do their like marathon running, everything, and like
Marathon.
they keep themselves in shape, you know, and like
Right.
healthy. And I don't remember how we met with them, but all I remember is like we would always go to their house, and she would always give us what's it called? What's the chocolate bar with the nuts in them?
Uh,
Snickers?
Snickers or Payday?
No, not Snickers. Not... Crap.
I can't think.
Oh my God. Anyways,
Fucking
she would always give us yeah. If you know it, it'll come back to you. But
right.
she would always give us like chocolate bars. This chocolate bar every single time, and we would make this pita and cheese and put it in the microwave, and the cheese would just be melted inside the pita. We'd always eat that. I swear to God, that's every time we go to their house. And I would go downstairs and put on like Cartoon Network, like this is like my own house. I swear to God, I just get to watch.
You just showed
Be a
up and
fat
started
ass.
putting this shit on. That's great. That's funny as fuck.
Put my feet on the
I
couch.
I can see little Aderlin just sitting on the couch, fucking popping his feet up, turning Cartoon Network on, reading the old
Bro, I
man's
would be
paper. Just
watching Wayside or whatever was on, you know? Teletoon.
God, that's
Bro,
awesome.
like it was my house, okay? Like, that's how it was. Like, we were so close with them.
Right.
Like,
Well,
it was like our
it's cool
second family.
to right. It's cool
Yeah.
to have a community like that.
Right.
I know
And
I
then,
didn't
okay,
really
who
get
was it?
to
Oh,
go
yeah.
ahead.
Now you go continue.
It's cool to like think that that's that's a thing. I've never really
Mm-hmm.
like experienced that because I've always lived 20 to 50 miles from the closest fucking town. Anyone near me, the only thing you're gonna get if you walk into their house and put Cartoon Network on is fucking buckshot in your ass. So that is cool, like to think like that's always a cool thing to think about.
Bro, I feel like that's just America.
Just the
I don't
southern part of
feel
America.
like that's
All
scary,
right.
bro.
Real quick, before we go any further, can we get a check on who's still awake? Grizzly? Aderlin's still awake.
That's so bad.
There's Hatter.
Oh my God.
The fuck?
I heard
Whambo.
Hatter spinning around in his chair is what it sounded like. It
No.
sounded like he was spinning.
I'm straight, bro.
He's done. He's done.
He's gone.
I'll be
Caden,
back.
you still alive? You
alive.
still good? I'll be back. Hold on.
I heard Caden like a couple minutes ago.
Caden, you there? No, he's dead. He's dead. It's okay. He's gone.
Probably want to go get some shit, maybe.
Two
He probably just
buckshots in his
asleep.
nuts.
2 buckshot. Yeah, he said, I'm gonna go blow my balls off. Man.
Blew himself to sleep.
It's crazy. Wambo, how you doing? You haven't spoken a minute.
I'm dead. I was gonna hit the bed because I forgot I have work at 6 in the morning tomorrow and it's already 3.
Oh, you dipshit. What are you doing? You can't sleep
That-
now. There's no way you can go to sleep. 3 hours of sleep, you're gonna feel like hell in the morning. You're bad at this. You're bad at this whole having a job shit.
I know. I'm surprised I'm not fired yet.
Right, honestly. It must be a pretty kick-ass job if you haven't got fired yet.
Exactly.
There you go.
And the funny
Wow.
thing is that I talk shit to my managers like straight up, and they say shit back to me too.
God. Tell him
Oh, this
Tell
guy still
him
has a job.
you want him to commit old Roy. Those balls off.
God.
2 shells. Pow pow.
Okay, Rambo's though.
Well, everyone say goodnight to Wambo. Good night, Wambo.
Oh, you have a good night. If you 3 hours of sleep.
Right, 3 hours of sleep. Before you head to bed, can I get you to do something for me, Wambo? In fact, can I get everyone on the podcast to do something for me real quick? Can we throw
Yeah.
it up, boys? Throw it up, please.
Come on.
Throw that shit up. All right. Good night,
Alright.
Wimbo.
Buenas noches, mijo.
He's gone. No, none of
But-
that Spaniard shit. You feel? Get some
Yeah.
buckshot in your dick.
But you know, with my story,
God.
I wasn't done. The house open twisted. That comes.
Go ahead.
That comes in.
Go ahead.
All right. This is where it gets to the interesting part. They have a daughter. Okay. They have a daughter. Okay. We were outside one day. It was like evening, like 7 o'clock, dawn. Okay. We were outside in front of my yard, and like all of us, like my sister and my neighbor, the girl, and we see this one lady in a bike, just biking, and she goes like in their driveway, and they're not there, okay? They were not there. No one's in the house. She goes in their driveway and goes in from like they have a door. The downstairs door is in the driveway, okay? She goes in from there, and we all witnessed that, and we're like, "Oh my God, they're being robbed. Like their house is being robbed right now."
All right.
So first thing we think is like we call the police, right? But we were so young, like we don't have cell phones or whatever, so we just we go to my dad. We tell him to call the police. The house is being robbed. A lady came into the house. You know, that's what we said. Like a lady came to the house. That they're getting robbed. We call the police. You know, my dad did that ASAP. The police come. Like probably 5 minutes. They go straight into the house driveway. Go in the front door. They knock. She opens the door. We don't know what they asked. We just saw everything, and this is how it went down. I can imagine them, the police saying to her, "Hi, is this your house?" And then we see her nodding. I mean, like we're not nodding. No. She was like, "Yes, like this is my house, yes."
Right.
But the police did not believe her at all. Okay, and she kept saying like, "This is my house," everything. But the police like did not believe her, so it told her to put her hands back. So she didn't do it. She tried closing the door. The police, like, one of them, like, grabbed the door quickly, pushed her back. They both tackled her down and fucking arrested her. Like, they tackled her down, tried to handcuff her. And she was, like, screaming, like, "This is my fucking house, da da da." Like,
Right.
she was just screaming some shit. I don't remember what, but she was screaming some shit, and we heard it from, like, 20 meters away. We were, like, just, like, lawn, just, like, witnessing everything, and it was happening in the front door. Like, we could see it, you know?
Yeah.
And yeah, like a few minutes passes by. They arrive, the man and the girl. Like, because their name is Bob and Freddie. Freddie was the woman, and Bob was, Bob, the
Well,
guy.
well, I hope Bob wasn't the woman.
Alright, they arrive, and next thing you know, we find out like that's actually their daughter.
No
And-
shit.
Yeah, and we went up to them, we told them, like, we're so sorry, we didn't know it was her daughter, like, we called the police, it was our fault, whatever. They were like, it's okay, whatever, but the daughter, she fucking hated us that day. She started cursing at us, she started, like, giving us a dirty look and everything, like, the police let her go, they left,
Yeah.
whatever. There was a misunderstanding, like, this both, and, yeah, like, Bob and Freddie, they were like, it's okay, you guys are young, da da da. But she's like, she that look where she was like, fuck you kids, just fuck you.
Right.
Like that look, bro. Like I'm not even squinting her eyes. I remember, bro. Like, yo, I was so afraid of her that day.
She was just gonna fucking
And I-
jump you or some shit.
Exactly. Like we actually never met her daughter. We never knew we had.
Hold on. Murda, you got a bad echo. We're doing a podcast right now, brother. Thank you, homie. Sorry about that, guys. God. I didn't want to interrupt you, but I was gonna tell Murda we were in the podcast because I knew he was gonna do that at some point because he's got his mic set up.
Alright. Yeah, that was my story.
Fuck yeah, that is funny. That's how, it's funny. It's funny, but it's kind of like scary too. That's great.
Yeah, bro.
Oh shit. Well, fuck.
Should we wrap
You
it
got
up?
any filler? No, no, we're nowhere near
Unbelievable.
needing to wrap it up. It's only like at 40 minutes.
Oh,
Oh, I was
damn.
watching Pulp Fiction today.
You watched Pulp Fiction for the first time?
Not the first. Oh
Not,
yeah, kind of the first time.
not gonna lie, I've still never finished that movie.
It's really good. It's too long. I'm not gonna lie. It's too long.
But yeah,
I was trying. I was trying to watch this movie and things got heated. Not really
Oh, Pulp
heated,
Fiction
but
is really good.
yeah, the movie got heated pretty fucking late. Well, not late, but like in the middle of the movie, it gets heated.
right.
Mm-hmm. I watched them.
I don't want to get spoilers because it's on Netflix and shit. It's a great movie.
Well, it's only been out for fucking 10 years if you haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, it came out in
Let's-
1994, bro.
Yeah, I was gonna say that. Samuel L. Jackson is a fucking
I don't
great
know
actor.
what's going on Hatter's end of this broadcast, but I'm sorry for
John
whatever
Travolta.
technical difficulties you're seeing. Hatter, your
He is
fucking
gone.
your share factory's going a little willy.
He is. It's wild a little bit.
It's fine. It's
My
fine.
bad,
You know
brother. My bad. Alright.
what? It's fine. It's fine. Actually,
I got it.
and the names haven't been on the broadcast for the entire broadcast.
Fuck, there we go.
Oh,
I got it, I
Alright,
got
there
it,
we
I
go.
got it.
Hit pause, hit pause, hit pause, hit pause, or it's gonna go away like that. You gotta pause it.
It is paused.
There you go. There you go. For the last 20 minutes, you're gonna have a correct.
boy.
Atta boy. Alrighty. That's good shit. How do you need to talk more? Liven up. Where the fuck you been?
Dying, brother.
You good?
I'm
You having a
alright.
good time? You having a good fucking time, mate?
I'm having a pretty good fucking time.
You having a pretty good fucking time. He's scuffed, dude. He's really scuffed.
He's blazed though. Are you still
Cadence.
smoking?
No, I'm
I am,
straight
yeah.
now.
Kids.
Caden's Dunzo. I think Caden probably knocked that as well.
Yeah, I think Caden's KO. I hear rustling. I feel like that's him tossing and turning on his inflatable couch. Oh shit.
I had a NASCAR as a bed, like a NASCAR frame.
I think I had
know.
that. I think I had that
Pretty
when
lit.
I was little too.
Yeah.
I had a captain's bed. It was really cool because I kept all my like clothes. It was like a bunk bed, but it only had the top bunk. And like where the bottom bunk goes, it was two cabinets. So I had all my like a dresser on the left side and all my clothes hung up on the right side. It was
That's lit. Yeah, sure. And
as soon as
After
the
this
podcast
podcast.
is over, Murda, we'll play Siege.
yeah. Have you guys? What type of TVs did you guys have when you were kids? I had.
Go ahead.
That's what I just want to say. I had a Mickey Mouse TV.
No
It was
shit.
red and it had the Mickey Mouse, like his fucking ears. His ears
That's
was on the TV. I wish I had a
I had
picture
like
to show it.
yeah. I had like the 80s TV, and me and my brothers will always play like Super Mario or fucking Pokemon Stadium within the
Hell yeah.
64. Because
Well, that's lit.
he had the Pikachu fucking Pikachu N64, and it was cool.
Oh
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah.
I
and
don't
then
think
the
I had
Xbox.
Fuck yeah. I don't think I had a TV in my room until I was like what the hell's going on? 12. I was either 12 or 13 before I got a TV in my room. Hang on, I gotta
Damn.
reset this. Yeah. But of
Oh
course,
my God.
we didn't have a TV in like I mean, we had a TV in the front room, but it was really only for like news and shit. We didn't like watch a whole lot of movies on it. Until no, that's right. When I was about 5 or 6, we had a big screen TV in the front room, and we watched everything on that shit.
We should play
Oh
Sims.
yeah. I had like a big screen TV in my mom and dad bedroom.
Glow
You know,
in the
like
dark. I
we
wish we
always
like.
used to play Halo on it, and like my brother, well, my other brother, like the second oldest one,
Yeah.
he would always steal controllers and break it because he used to get
God.
fucking shitted on. And I just watched. I just enjoyed it, watching them get mad at each other.
What was the first video game you guys ever played? Oh, Adolin, go ahead. You first.
Wow. Let me think. Honestly, fuck. I'm gonna say Wii Sports. Wii
Wii
Sports.
Sports was the
I
first
swear to
game you
God, I
ever
like
played?
Wii Sports. Yes, and we played it all night, and it was a Christmas present. I think when I was
Oh
like
yeah.
probably like, yeah, 10 years old actually,
How
and we
old?
played it with like one family. 10.
You're 10?
Hmm.
Oh
I
yeah.
got it as a present, and like the whole family played. Like my mom, my dad, my sisters. Like we all played it in the basement, like until like 5 in the morning. They
Fuck
fell asleep
yeah.
at 5 in the morning, and like I just kept on playing like all night.
Is I just
It
didn't go
was
to sleep.
Yeah, I just loved it. The boxing, the golf, like it was lit, bro.
Damn. I think the first game I ever played was either Dungeon Master on the Atari or
Dungeon
it
Master.
it, it could have been Dunk Hunt on the N64. But Dungeon
Hmm.
Master was cool as fuck, and it was the most simple game. And this is like the Atari where you had the cartridges and shit, and you had to blow out the cartridge fucking and then
Yeah.
slam it in there. But you were just
Uh,
you were a little like mouse cursor, and you had to go around and find the key in this like maze of a thing to unlock the next door to go above, and you couldn't be hit by these little red dots and shit. It was really, I thought it was the coolest shit in the world. But of
Right.
course, I think I was like 9 at the time, and I'd never even seen a video game. That was the coolest shit.
you never
Um,
see the video again.
how about you, extend?
I don't know really. I played like a shit ton of games, but I never finished it.
Right.
But
What was the very first game you ever played?
game if I
Remember?
can
Yeah, I remember.
remember.
Yeah,
Oh
just literally if
shit.
you can remember.
I think it's Pokemon Snap. Cause like I
Pokemon
guess
Snap.
yeah, I'm like we were big fucking Pokemon nerds. I'm not a big Pokemon nerd anymore, but kinda.
Right.
I just like playing Pokemon here and there whenever I get bored. But like
I can tell by
I
the
like
way you
playing
pronounce Pokemon that you like Pokemon.
yeah
Pokemon.
Pokemon
Oh,
whatever.
Pokemon
But
original.
like
Yeah,
like
like,
What the fuck?
like the
Pokemon.
first game I ever finished, it was like the
God.
shit. The first game I ever finished was called like not Dark Souls, Dark Sector.
Pokemon Snap
It's for
rules.
PS3.
Dark
That
Septic.
that game, that Sector, not Sector. Wait, was it
Septic.
Sector?
I don't
I don't
fucking know.
fucking remember. It was something like that, and I always used to play it offline. In that game, the story was like, I think it was shit. But I used to play the game a lot and grind it on it.
Yeah.
And like, though I never passed the final boss 'cause it was too fucking hard. And then eventually I did.
I remember probably like the first game I ever played online. I didn't even know what online was, right? I'd always played with bots on like the PS2
Yeah.
and shit.
Oh
And
yeah.
like Tekken on PS1, Tekken or Street Fighter, you'd have the
Yeah.
AI.
Capcom,
So
no,
Capcom, yeah.
versus Marvel, yeah.
So I remember when I first got my PS2, we got a bunch of games for it. And one of the ones I played the most was, or I wanted to play the most, excuse me, was SOCOM. It was SOCOM 5. And I couldn't play it. Every time I put it in, it looked really cool, and I really wanted to play it because it was like a military shooter, and it said insert Ethernet cable. I was like, what the fuck is this? Well, finally my mom, I think, figured out what the fuck, like what that meant. And so she, we went to my friend's house who had dial-up internet, and we plugged in the Ethernet cable. 15 minutes later, I'm in a game of SOCOM, and I have no idea what the fuck I'm doing. I've never played this game before in my life. And I'm sitting here just fucking like aiming at bots, trying to shoot them and shit, and there's people throwing tactical grenades over walls and using drones and shit. I'm like, wow, these bots are really fucking hard. It took me like 2 years until I finally, no, let's see, I was probably 8 at that time. It took me 9, 10, 11. It took me 3 years before I got my first Xbox 360 before I realized what the fuck online gameplay was. And now I look back and I'm like, those guys are probably some like super nerd fucking competitive gamers playing SOCOM 5 on their dial-up internet. Jesus Christ. Could you imagine playing any of the games we play today on dial-up?
Yeah, I guess Call of Duty.
Right. I can't even open a game unless I have at least 1 megabyte per second. Dial-up was 10 kilobytes per second, I believe.
Jesus.
10 kilobytes. And that was good quality. That was great quality. It's kind of like, you know, like our phones and shit. Our phones, you know, 4G and shit. I remember not too long ago only having 3G. And, my 3G worked just fine. I watched my YouTube, I did this shit, and now when I'm in really shitty connected areas, I get 3G on my phone and it won't even fucking load shit. The phone barely even wants to turn the fuck on in 3G. I don't understand. It's crazy how we upgrade and we get so used to the new shit that when we go back to the old shit, it's like, what the fuck is this? What's up, Murda?
Hey. What's up? Stay out of this conversation any longer.
Well, I was gonna say like.
Go ahead, put your 2 cents in.
I've just been.
I was gonna say fucking the first game I ever played online was probably like.
Hold on, one at a time. Who's got someone muted?
I think me.
I can hear everyone.
Okay.
No, I'm right here.
Murda and fucking Extend were talking at the same time. I didn't want. Wait, Murda, your voice isn't able to be shared. No, his voice isn't able to be shared. Is it?
Oh.
Yes, it is.
Oh, I thought you didn't do it last time. You voted to opt out.
No, I just muted everybody last time to play Rocket League with Grim.
Hold on.
I didn't. So guys, tell us. What was the first game?
Okay, so we can hear you. We can hear you. Sorry. Continue. I didn't mean to interrupt.
What was the first game you had on the first console? Either it was PS2, PS3.
Oh.
Like the first console we ever owned, and what was the first game on it?
Yep.
Oh,
you need to start, not join. You gotta start a new one.
I believe the first console I ever owned. Hey, Murda, if you're gonna play with him, make sure to mute your mic or just mute us. So I believe the first game the first console I ever owned, like myself in my house, was a Sega Saturn. I had a Sega Saturn, and I rarely played video games on it. I mostly played. It was one of the very first consoles. It was the very first console that was able to play DVDs. It couldn't play movies, but it would play DVDs. But I did own Command and Conquer 2 for it. So I did play that a lot. But mostly I listened to CDs, and it had this feature where you could turn the pitch all the way up or turn the pitch all the way down, like low and high.
Right.
And I fucked with that a lot. What about you guys?
Adrian, you want to go first, or?
You can go.
Alright, so the first game I bought, kinda, I guess I bought I bought it at a pawn store. It was really
Pawn
ghetto
shop?
and shit. Yeah, no, yeah, basically. And it was really ghetto and shit. And they had fucking Fallout New Vegas. I was like, oh, what is this game? Looks cool. So I bought it. Didn't care about the age or anything. So I guess they just want off your hands. And I bought it, and I was like, damn, this game. I kind of fell in love with that game because that game was like really fun, and I grinded on it for like hours. And I got into Fallout after that, and I was gonna say the first online game I played was probably like fucking I think it was on Xbox, like probably Halo.
Xbox One,
Mhm.
Halo Reach or some
No,
shit. Oh,
Halo
Xbox
Xbox.
Reach.
360.
Yeah,
Halo Reach. I played Halo
yep.
Reach on the PC. That was my very first PC game. Was Halo Reach. Me and Caden played it together a lot. Or no, I guess probably Minecraft and then Halo Reach.
Halo Reach was a good one.
Halo Reach was good. I liked that shit. I liked I think it was Halo 3. I don't remember. It was the one where
Alien.
you create your own maps and shit. And it was all multiplayer, and you could 1v1, and like there was one that was like the sandbox, where it was like 2 towers and then like this little tunnel. I don't know. It was a really good game. Me and Caden played hours and hours and hours of that fucking game. Split screen style. It was great.
Hmm. Yeah. Me it was a Nintendo DS. I remember. And
Ah, the DS. I miss playing
yeah,
on
the
that.
DS. You guys remember that?
I know the
Yeah.
mod.
The DS. Yeah, those are really popular, bro. Our generation. That time, those are really popular. I
There's like
had one.
there's like 16 different DSs too. There's like the DS, the 2DS, the 2DS Plus, the
Is there?
3DS. Yeah,
Yeah.
there's the
Yes.
regular DS, then there's a DS Slim, there's a 2DS, and then there's a
The
2DS
DS2.
XL, and there's a 3DS, and then a
I had
3DS
a
XL.
3DS. I think I had a 3DS.
Alright, they're crazy.
But yeah, I had that. I had like a Mario game. I don't remember what it was called, but it was a good Mario. Sure.
Alright.
Was it Mario's Paper Mario?
No, it wasn't Paper Mario. It was like a very first Mario game we had a job for it on the
Oh,
DS.
like
And
the default Mario type shit.
mhm.
Alright. Hey
And
Hatter, hold on guys. Hey Hatter, you there?
Yeah.
Alright, just making sure you're still with us, because we'll probably be wrapping it up soon.
yeah,
For sure.
You sound like
I
you're a
think
little
we're
more straight now than you were a second ago.
Alright.
Am I? Yeah, I God.
Do you listen to that ever?
you dig?
You
You
did.
dig?
Speaking of, we should probably be. Let's wrap her
Wrap it
up,
up.
boys. We're at 1 hour and 5, I believe. This was like I said at the beginning, this is a real scuffed fucking podcast, but it was a good podcast because we got 101 on. Hatter didn't say
Yeah,
maybe
yeah.
52 words. It's fine. It's fine.
I kind of talked more.
Yeah, we actually got to hear Extend's point of view.
Yeah.
Caden was there for 3 seconds.
Alright, boys, right in here. Hey, wait. This is what I gotta shout out. Let's throw it out. Come on, let's hit it. E. Yeah.